闇の波動を感じます。
そうか。こいつが闇のドラゴンフォースってことか。
おそらく彼らの体に積もった闇の力、それが形となったもの。
And the weekly report, but before that, welcome back everyone to Let's Replay Dragon Force 2 featuring Team Izumo. Thank you for joining me yet again. I apologize for the abrupt beginning, bringing you in the middle of a conversation. I had went to the next domestic screen after Eston was defeated, not realizing that we were going to jump right into some dialogue, which I should have because usually that happens after an important boss encounter, so I was sleeping at the wheel, so apologies. You really didn't miss anything. And we're just going to skip domestic affairs, don't really need to be there. We're still working on that sword, very close to getting the best one. Until then, we're just going to keep moving forward. Midia is the second leg of the tripod we need to take down. In my opinion, she's probably the toughest of the three, just because of her spell assortment. Healing being the most critical nuisance. But we've got enough power under the hood here. Nothing to fear. Gonna switch some people around. Gave Fujimaru archers there. Better late than never. Not really sure who I'm gonna send against her. It usually takes at least a couple of generals to deal with her as well, because again, she can heal herself. She has dragons and harpies, which is a very, very nasty combination. But shouldn't be anything too terrible. Now when you're level 19, 17, and so on and so forth. All of our monarchs are pretty powerful in their own right. Definitely don't need to give it to Kiri. Look at her sitting on level 18. You know, last episode I was talking about the rulers of this game compared to DF1. I'm kind of thinking about the starting generals right now. I think overall, without taking the time to go over each and every one because there's so many, I think in general I prefer the starting lieutenants to this game, both in terms of character design and their personalities. There are a few from the first one that do stand out to me. People like Kat and... well, you know what? Most of the ones that stand out to me in the first one are not the ones who were technically starting generals, but ones who were very important in the story anyway. Ones like Ural and Gig and Ardor. Basically all the ones around the Tradnor area, really. That was just a good group, which made his campaign so much fun, really. But as far as actual starting generals, let me see, besides Kat, who's the first one that pops up all the time because she had the Reaper command, which was amazing. Which is another reason why I favor Stefano so much here. Who was there? I can't think of anybody right now. Oh, Gullen, the masked knight from Moon Palace. Gullen was cool. Let's see. Let's. Oh, man. I apologize. I just can't think of anybody right now. Who was there? And yep, not going to subject you to those goons again. So off to Midia. Okay. Somebody besides Kaide who has access to our Shigaru. So why not? That's what I figured. They'll be okay against the Harpies, but very, very good against the Dragons, which is why they're here to kind of just nick away at her numbers really quick. Let somebody in finish it up after the fact. Oh man. Is it too early? I cannot think of any other starting generals that I liked. Let me see. Oh, Yana. I liked Yana from Leon's side. I liked... Scar was okay, but I was a little disappointed that for somebody who was giving so many lines, he didn't have a unique character sprite. I didn't get that. Didn't make sense to me. He just looked like a standard soldier class. And she thinks she's on ABC now. Let's see. Ooh. Rudger was a funny character, but I wouldn't say he was a favorite. Oh, there had to be somebody else. I liked Zagat and was it Shione from Izumo? I like Zagat because I thought he was an obvious play on Sagat from Street Fighter 2. Maybe not, but that's the feeling that I got from him. But who knows? Who knows, maybe that was working designs just having some fun when they saw the eye patch, but even facially, he bore some similarities to Sagat if he was Japanese inspired and had hair. And samurai attire, you know, full shogun. Who else? I liked Lyria from Gold Arc Side. And Karhaz as well. He just looked like a badass, didn't he? Let's see. I know I'm forgetting people. Presto was cool. Who else? Well, the fact that I'm struggling says it all, I think. I've wasted too much time here talking about people whose names I can't recall. And the same for the advisors. I'd much prefer the advisors in this game in terms of design and personality than the first one. So really, for all the flack this one gets in terms of presentation and visuals, it's funny, you never hear people compare the characters directly too much at the same time. Like, I never hear them say, oh, the characters here are so much more drab and dull and boring compared to the other game. I will agree if some people say this game just looks a little too dried out and drab in terms of color scheme. I don't have a problem with it being a darker game, but I think that it's just the use of the same 2 or 3 colors that does it. Very heavy use of the same shades of green and brown. It gives the impression that there's not a lot of variety on the map in particular, which isn't necessarily true, but that's just the feeling that it conveys. So if they ever made a Dragon Force, try not to talk over her. If they ever make a Dragon Force 3, that would be something to improve on. Just give the map a little more visual spice, a little more visual punch for appeal's sake. Still not bad as it is, but, you know, that's just being nitpicky. I still think it's fine. The sprites look great in this game, especially the animations. Definitely more realistic than in the first one. And just imagine what they could do with modern technology making a DF3. Even if they made it sort of retro themed, as if it came out on a Saturn back in the day, they could still do so much with it to make it look fantastic. I'm almost surprised there hasn't been a fan game developed along those lines at this point, because there's such a cult following for this game. Well, I shouldn't say such a cult following, but there are people who love this game. I really don't know how big it is in essence. I know Shining Force has a huge fan community. Not sure about this game though. And Midia did not make enough use of her heal spell, and it cost her her life. Sadly, we had to kill her. I didn't want to do it. She's a great character. Oh well.
太陽の光、草の匂い、小川のせせらぎ。やっと華やかな舞台で踊れると思ったのに。やっぱり闇の住人にはふさわしくないということなの。悲しいね。悲しいよね。
And so ends the once jubilant days of the Scarlet Dancer. It's really unfortunate that there's no way to get her on your team. Huge missed opportunity. She could have been this game's Xanon. Because there's no way Eston would join us. It's just, nah, that wouldn't happen. Trust me. But this show must go. We have one left to go, which is not this castle. Olvo is the last leg of the tripod. Now, as before, these castles are going to quickly fill up with dark elves that we have to take down on the way to him. So you're not going to have to worry about any of that. And we're back. The item has been forged. What item is that? Hopefully a very, very tasty new weapon. Let's see what we have here. Aha! The best sword. Dark sword. Strength plus 50. Only matched by the Death Claw in damage, but only Gangets can equip that as far as the rulers. So we're going to give that to Shin. If I can, I'm going to make some more. Also, off screen made a Dragon Shield, which I got from a Silver Shield. Defense plus 6 is not bad, but you can top that with Defense plus 7, Charge 10, and MP of 1. Very, very good accessory to give anybody who can equip it, which is sadly a select few comparatively. As far as monarchs, I only see Avarice and Bart, so thankfully I have exactly 2 that I made, so that'll go to both of them, I'm thinking. Yep. Nobody else here. So we're looking pretty good. Wasn't able to make a high-end weapon for Gongus or Rennie or Sanis, but he's plenty strong without one, and those 2 focus on spells, so they'll be okay. One jump later, and time to greet Olvo.
またぞろ手頃な実験材料が自らやってきましたか。
Still full of himself, still oblivious of what's to come. But he does have Silence, Tidal Wave, Meteor Panic, and Deep Black. All potential nuisances in their own right, but we'll be just fine. And I think we're actually going to leave these fights in, because you haven't seen enough of Enlil, right? I'm sure he's different than everybody else. Oh, no, he looks just like the rest. Oh, well. No, actually, I'm leaving this in because we've been learning some abilities in between my editing that you haven't seen. Shigure and Kaede, for example, have got their last ability, which just happens to be the same, so we're going to show it off for her. No sense in telling you what it is, you're about to see it in a moment. So let's keep the surprise and send them on the attack. No sense in holding back now. We've got land and air covered. If there was sea, that would be our domination as well. Meteor Panic. No sense in holding back. And how about that entrance? Now, funny thing about that animation, that only happens when you're in an outdoor battlefield. So it's interesting that the developers actually thought ahead on that and chose to make it unique for that. When you're fighting indoors, like in a cavern, they just come straight forward horizontally. There's no descending from above. It's the end of the world, as far as he's concerned. Unfortunately, it did no damage to him. That's the only problem with Meteor Panic in this one. Unlike in DF1, it's not guaranteed damage against the enemy commander. Sometimes it skips over them. I'm not really sure what's the percentage rate, how it determines when it's a hit or a miss. I don't know if it's completely just randomly generated, but there you go. He has no troops, so he won't be much of a bother no matter what. As he fends off the hordes of falcons to no avail. Oh, and look who's just in time to the festivities. And you'll notice that Kaede there is sitting at over 30 MP. Once again, the more magic you can give your leader, the better off you'll be. That's all I'm going to say there. Let me see. I think Rennie learned Cathesis off screen as well. That's the spell that allows you to regen MP at no cost, of course. Very, very useful. I think those are the only noteworthy skills that have been learned. Everything else is pretty much the same as it was. We just got some more levels. Charge! Non-rulers tend to cap out at around level 15 as far as learning new skills. There are a select few who will learn something at level 20, but they are in the stark minority. And then there's some who stop at level 10, so... Speaking of stopping, this could be the end of Enlil, but no, the clock ran out. Saved by the bell, you. But like ignorance, your bliss will be short-lived. As we put him off to the side for now, deal with Gades, and Bartz is volunteering, wants to try out his new equipment. I say, why not? I guess we'll have enough time. We can leave this one in too. I mean, after all, this is, for better or for worse, the penultimate confrontation, I'm thinking, so let's just leave it all in. And he's not amused, and why would he be? He knows what he's up against. We're outnumbered technically, but only technically. Because there's this little thing called power, and it's sort of the deciding factor here. Sure, he's got ogres, but we've got centaurs, cyborg. Well, not cyborg, they're completely robotic. And ooh, yes, let's not forget, Bartz has Bolt Storm. Offensive magic is a wonderful thing. In the hands of a king. We're all spread out here, not really knowing where we're going. Well, I know where the archers are going. They're going straight for his head. As is Bartz. Boltstorm also can randomly miss the enemy officer, but I find it has a much higher success rate than something like Meteor Panic, so that's a plus. We're gone. We're tired of seeing, we're tired of hearing, we're tired of all of you. Causing trouble in Legendra, you've got problems, we can solve them by removing your face from us. Or something of such. La 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 la. This is the end. How many arrows? Okay. How many arrows does it take to get to the end of this battle? Not too many. And that's it for Gades. Who's up next? Bull Noil? Ah, yes. Another reference character. I learned from somebody way back in my first playthrough, I believe, that this is a reference to a game called Brigandine, which I had never heard of up until that point. One of a few games that was inspired directly by Dragon Force, it seems, in some instances. I probably would have played it for myself by now, except for the fact that it's on PlayStation, which I don't have. So, there you go. Sanis has been upgraded. She traded in her monks for some men on horseback. They're gonna do a little bit better here, I think. Though actually, monks would be strong against ghosts, wouldn't they? But I'm always preparing for ogres more than anything else. Ogres and chimera. Because that's what you tend to face in the last legs of the race more than anything. Speaking of the race, this is the home stretch, guys. Not going to be able to finish it all in this video, but it's looking like next episode, number 27, will be the finale. Do hope you join me for that. After all, we've endured all these hardships along the road to liberating Legendra. It's time for the big reward. You gotta come in and collect your payoff. D Black? Yep. This is their default go-to. Sometimes they'll mix it up with a Bolt Storm or a Dark Vortex, but they tend to only do Bolt Storm when they don't have any more troops to take out. And it looks like he's got on Sanis' bad side. Showing off a spell you rarely get to see, Banish. Because again, we're fighting mostly ghosts, so it seemed like the perfect opportunity. By mostly, I mean entirely. Not too bad. Could have removed a few more, but not gonna complain. Not gonna cast it again either, though. Makes more sense to focus on him, right? Just expedite the fight. Not that I haven't enjoyed my stay here in the petrified, decaying, rotten forest. At least what I imagine used to be a forest. At this point, it's just pixel perfect depression. Because your environment does have an effect on your state of mind, so remember that. Do your best to ensure that your current environment is a supportive and accurate reflection of where you are personally. And where you would like to be. And if it's not, do what you can to change that. Because if you're not happy, I'm not happy. And if I'm not happy, he's definitely not going to be happy. But I'm happy and he's still not going to be happy because this water ball is pretty much going to put him on his back. And with his last breath, he chooses to complain. Rock. 100 zombies. Sounds like a job for Shin. Yeah, not leaving that one in. Because all I did was spam knife toss. Not really too thrilling. Oh, and Leal, welcome back. We remember you. You got away from Kaede, didn't you? So let's see. He's pretty close to a level. Everybody's probably close to a level at this point. Every victory pretty much ensures an increase. Because again, high level opponents, that's the plus, that's the perk. So let's pretend that experience is still important to us and give it to Sanus, who's still relatively low on the ladder. And this should be fun, watching them duke it out. Let's take this to the back alley. Settle this with our fists. But Kathmandu's coming too. Because when you have a giant fighting robot on your side, you always bring them along. And that just leaves Olvo himself. With 81 HP, but 35 MP. And with that, I think we'll call it a day, but the next episode will be the conclusion, so please join me for that. Until then, please continue to have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves, and hopefully, I'll see you soon.